Hey, it's Andryanna. Welcome back to The Juggle is Real. If you're listening in real time, it is September 4th. And that means we are right back into back to school season, especially if you're here in Canada. My three boys are heading back. Two of them have started, and my youngest, sweet Zachary, starts junior kindergarten tomorrow on Friday. So cue the tears, lots of excitement, all that chaos of packing lunches and doing drop-offs and all of that stuff. And I feel so good right now. And it's been nice to have some quiet. But also, I was seeing other people's back to school posts, and especially those with little ones starting school. And I was like feeling all the feels again, But mostly, I am just in a place of, feeling the fresh start, because September always feels like its own new year with the sharpened pencils, the routines coming back after a wonderful, but maybe more lax summer. And you know what? Sometimes there's a lot of overwhelm there too. So today, for this solo episode, I want to share not only what has been going on in my own life these past couple of weeks. Let me just say it's been a whirlwind, to say the least. But I also want to share some tactical and some supportive ways that you can lean into your own new beginnings, whether it's kids starting school, whether it's a career pivot or an idea that has been looming in the back of your head. Maybe you want to start a new habit or just simply wanting a reset for the season ahead. So I've got quite the story to share, and then some ways, some exercises, some research to back up how we can have our own fresh starts for September. So if that sounds good, let's dive right in.
This is the Juggle is Real podcast. I hope you feel seen, that you realize your worth, lighten your load, and prioritize your own needs. As we hear from leading experts and well-known faces in the wellness, entrepreneurship, education, and motherhood space, I hope you gain insights, proven practices, and learn actionable tools to help you enjoy the juggle of work, family, and everything in between with a little less stress and a lot more ease, joy, and fun. Most of all, I hope you find what you need to simplify, streamline, and supercharge your own journey of better balance and self-love. Are you with me? Let's get started.
This episode of The Juggle is Real is supported by Orange Natural Supplements. Fall always feels like a fresh start, but let's be honest, it also comes with a lot of moving parts between school schedules, work, and the endless family logistics. It's easy to put yourself last or completely fall off the to-do list. I know you know this well. But that's why I try to build in tiny wellness habits into my daily rhythm. The things that are so simple, I can actually stick with them with ease. And one way that I do this is by keeping Orange Natural supplements right where I can see them, either in my kitchen or the bathroom or on my bedroom, on the side table beside me. So I remember to take them, and then they become part of my everyday routine, right? So for me, it might look like taking magnesium glycinate in the evenings before bed to support my muscles, bones, and sleep better. Just great for that evening routine. Or it might be peace of mind, ashwagandha, plus L-theanine to support my nervous system when the week is stacked and I want to increase my resistance to stress and anxiety. I have been taking this recently. And sometimes it's also the bounce back because it has a mix of herbal ingredients and B vitamins to help with mental relaxation without drowsiness when I'm feeling a bit frazzled, with the kids' hockey schedules or all the things piling on top of each other. But the point is, I don't have to overhaul my whole life. These little supports fit right into my day, and they remind me to take a moment for myself. So when the season ramps up, it's not about doing everything perfectly. It's really about the small, consistent steps that help you feel grounded and able to keep showing up. Orange Naturals products are easy to find across Canada. You can get them online at well.ca or right in your local grocery store or pharmacy. Adding them to your routine is such a simple way to support yourself this fall. Now let's get back to the episode. Okay. So let's back this up a little because my last solo episode was a recap of Ryan's and my San Francisco trip, which was all super fun, good stuff. And I believe I shared in that episode, because of the Air Canada strike, we ended up getting home a little bit later than we expected. And so we didn't actually roll into town until like 2:30 in the morning, very early Tuesday morning, say getting to bed by 3 a.m. So fast forward, we had some other things to do that week. It was very full with work things and whatnot. And we had to leave Friday morning, 7 a.m. for a hockey tournament. But on the Thursday, right before we left, our real estate agent sent us a quick email and just said, here's a listing that just came up for sale. Any interest, let me know. And because we were leaving Friday morning for the weekend and going out of town, we said, yeah, whenever, we'll take a look. Really no expectations, very close to where we're currently living. So we figured, well, if we can see it tonight, let's go take a quick look. So we did. We brought the kids. Everything was fine. Didn't think of it too much. Took a quick look because by Friday morning, we were up and out the door by 7 a.m. for this hockey tournament and our final last hurrah summer holidays at Blue Mountain Resort, which was a really, really wonderful time. We had a great time. Did not think at all about this house until we were driving home on Sunday evening, because they were holding off to receive offers and they were opening bids on Monday afternoon. So the agent contacted us and we said, well, okay, I mean, sure, we could put in an offer. We talked about it briefly, but it wasn't anything that we had like our heart set on, but it was very interesting to us, I would say. So Monday afternoon, put the offer in, and we found out late Monday night that they were likely going to accept our offer, but we didn't have anything in writing. So Tuesday, Tuesday, we had the offer finally accepted. And our agent said, we want to get your house listed because it was conditional upon selling this home that we're in right now. That was what the conditions were for this offer that was accepted. So he said, let's get this house listed as soon as possible, like by Thursday. So it was a Tuesday, had to turn around and have my house listed on a Thursday. And because I know, we all know, a house with kids, 3 kids and a dog, with a 2-day turnaround to get your house in tip-top shape to make it look saleable for potential buyers. Oh my God, it was it was a whirlwind, right? And you can imagine just how I was feeling. Like I was like trying to stay positive, but I was also like a little bit of a maniac and trying to get things done. But I will say that I was supported so much, and I will get to that in just a minute. I'll come back to that. But sure enough, by Thursday, we had the realtor and a photographer come Thursday morning to take some photos. And by Thursday afternoon, our house was on the market. I also had to leave on Thursday for a work trip. I had to head to Toronto for a TV segment. And so, I was feeling just a little spun around because in the midst of all of this, I had to leave for work. I had to get my ducks in a row. And I was just feeling just so overwhelmed. It was, when I think to just last week, it's like, holy crap, we did that, wow. But this isn't our first dance with the real estate roller coaster, because 2 years ago, we put our house up for sale. And I did share on the Juggle is Real about that process and how it brought us to kind of where we are today, like all the little things that led to that offer. And that one was conditional upon selling our house as well. And in that case, we had 0 offers. And about halfway through us listing our house, we had this realization that this house that we had put an offer on, it actually probably wasn't the right house for us. Like it was like kind of disheartening because we thought there would be more interest in our home, and it was kind of on the tail end of like the COVID boom. But looking back, like we are so grateful that it didn't work out. And we have had this happen on the house that we live in now. We had put offers in on other houses, and now seeing the houses that we had originally put an offer in on, we're like, oh my God, so glad we didn't live there. And like, so grateful that we live where we are now. And same with our first house that is now our rental property. Like these things that happen, we're like, okay, like maybe it was devastating at the time. Maybe we were disappointed at the time, but truly, like we have perspective here, right? Even last summer, another house popped up that checked more of the boxes that we were looking for. We originally did have an offer in, but we chose not to move ahead on that. Again, so grateful. So now here we are, here today and now. We're thinking maybe third time's the charm. But this whole last week and a bit, we've been saying, if it's meant to be, it's going to come together. It's going to flow easily. And so far, that's exactly how it has gone. Because when I think about what would the perfect time have been, not that there's any time that's absolutely perfect for this whole thing to happen. Like last week would have been the perfect time. Now looking at it, it was before school started, all of that sort of stuff, right? So just as I'm reflecting right now, I'll be honest, despite how smoothly things have gone so far, I've still been like, whew, this is like a lot, right? Like this is a lot. And I have been like leaning heavily on my orange natural supplements. I have been leaning heavily on our family for support, and they have been so incredible, leaning heavily on how I can be supported in other areas, and just so grateful for how things came together. So all summer I've been wanting to do some organizing. My niece, Gabby, is like a master organizer. Like she should have her own Netflix special because she has just a knack for taking everything apart, putting it back together, making it like just work so well, be organized so well, and like clear the clutter to reveal exactly what you want to keep, right? And so she came to our house the day before it was listed, went through all of the kids' toys. I had an entire carload, like up to the ceiling, of toys and items to donate. And that felt so good to drop that off and to, just be able to share the joy that our kids once had with something and give it to someone else. That was awesome. I called a company to clean our windows on such late notice, and just kind of explained our situation. He called me back with great news that he was able to shuffle around some other clients to get to our house the following day so we could have our windows nice and clean. Our cleaning person had come the Monday prior to listing on the Thursday. So it was really just like all of these little things. My parents watched our kids. My in-laws watched our kids. My mother-in-law came over to do some last minute painting. We had our handyman that we've worked with often come to fix the hockey room, which was like, we need to replace drywall. I said, can you just like kind of like, we're going to repaint here, but can you just patch up some like of the little nick marks and puck spaces? Well, it was like full polka dots. There was like 9 bajillion different patch marks in that hockey room. And that was all done. It was all kind of coming into place. And so when I went for my work trip to Toronto and I was driving home, I think I just survived on eating at Tim Hortons through the drive-through that entire week. But I stopped on my way home, naturally, and my bill, the total was $7.77. And so I am a spiritual person. I do believe in, the powers of the universe. And so if you are into angel numbers or spirituality, you know that 777 is often a message of divine guidance or reassurance, alignment, and also the sign of a new chapter ahead, a new beginning. And for me, going through to order my Tim Hortons and seeing the 777, it felt like a reminder that you're on the right path. As crazy as things might be right now, just trust it. And there's also research to support this. Psychologists have found that seeing meaning in numbers or symbols or signs, something that Carl Jung called synchronicity, you probably see that word too, synchronicity. It can actually help us feel more grounded and feel more confident in times of transition. So this is from Jung's work from back in 1952. And there's so many more recent mindfulness studies that show that having ritual or symbolism can reduce anxiety. It can help you feel better. So for me, whether or not you are believing of, these little signs and symbols, for me, it was like, okay, things are bonkers, but, maybe we're ready for a new sign. And so I just want to share with you that we're in this place, and how we can lean into our new beginnings, right? So whether you're like me and you have a little one starting kindergarten for the first time, or you're in a new role at work, or you're wanting to take on more, or just wanting to reset your habits for this fall season, I want to share a few really supportive practices that you might want to lean into. And of course, we know like that getting into the routine can be tricky, but starting small with your routines can be really, really supportive. And research shows that those micro habits, right? If you read Atomic Habits by James Clear, those micro habits are far more sustainable than just a total massive life overhaul. So maybe pick an anchor habit to focus on just for the month of September or just for the fall. And of course, you probably have heard me talk about it, but the Juggle is Real Authentic Self-Care Planner is based on this, creating micro habits of care for yourself within 5 pillars to support your overall well-being, to stay accountable to yourself, to make sure that you are still amidst all of the things in your life right now and in a busy fall season, you are carving out those tiny little pockets, which is not only more sustainable, but actually does become habitual, which means that you don't have to think about it, which means that it just flows naturally, which means that it's just part of your everyday routine. So start small, pick 1 or 2 tiny little things, focus on that for the month. Another thing that we can do that I have been really leaning into this last little while is reframing the overwhelm. And I probably used the word overwhelmed like maybe 10 times in this episode, because truly, like, I was just feeling so, like, I don't know if my mic can pick up on the big deep breaths and the sighs, but the overwhelm can definitely creep in. So when we reframe it as expansion or growth or stretching ourselves, it can help our brain wrap around and feel more positive towards whatever we're going through. And there was a Yale study done in 2021 that found that simply relabeling the stress, the overwhelm, whatever it is that you're going through that feels uncomfortable, just relabel it as growth. It helps you perform better and feel less anxious about it. So tell yourself, if you are in a similar position to me, if you're going through something right now that feels like a lot, and to be honest, we're all going through things that feel like a lot, like we all are. If we tell ourselves, this is stretching me, right? This is not breaking me. This is going to make me stronger. This is going to make me more capable. This is learning. This is growth. It's going to support us in feeling better about it, which will lead to it feeling easier. Okay, another thing we can do is to set our intentions. I talk about this all the time, but we're not going to wait for the new year. We're not waiting for January for our New Year's resolutions. We've got Q4 on the horizon, and let's think about how we want the last few months of the year to go. Think about how you want to feel by the end of the year. Maybe you can have 3 words, like 3 descriptive words of how you want to feel, or a short phrase, like a quick sentence that you can continually repeat, reaffirm to yourself. Perhaps it's an I am statement, which is really, really powerful, that you can just come back to for the rest of the year and remind yourself that, you are this person, right? The future self stuff, right? So set that intention now. How do you want to be feeling by the end of the year? If it's calm, if it's productive, if it's successful, if it's worthy, if it's patient, if it's whatever it is, or maybe you have a goal that you would like to see come to fruition. I am that. And what is it? Like, I am feeling so happy and excited that this, that, and the other thing happened. And now I'm sitting in front of my Christmas tree knowing that it all worked out beautifully, right? So when we can set that intention, make it forward in our minds, it's just going to be right there waiting for us. And it's going to be a lot easier to make it feel normal. And we can also do a visualization along with, those intentions or those 3 words or the mantra or the affirmation. Let's picture ourselves at the end of, maybe even at the end of the month, feeling grounded or grateful, just having handled all the challenges with so much grace. Feel it in your body. And there's so much research to show that when we can actually feel the feelings that we would feel had this already happened, then it's so much easier to get there, right? Because your brain, your subconscious cannot decipher between it actually happening in real life or it just having been happened like as a visualization. So the more you visualize it, the easier it's going to feel. So if you can, maybe it's just right before bed, picture yourself in that place, in that space, having accomplished whatever it is that you want to accomplish, having just maybe gone through the tough time and now you're on the other side of it with all of that growth and the learnings, and know that it's all worked out. Because truly, 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 and what we keep saying to ourselves again and again is like everything always works out. So if what's happening right now with my house now, if this isn't the right thing and it doesn't come together, then that's okay. And it gave us a great chance to declutter our home a bit, get things cleaned up for the fall, keep us, in a place, in a space of knowing that, maybe it wasn't this one, but the right thing is coming to us when the time is right. And if this is the thing, well, I'll be updating you on that as well. But if this is it, then here it is. And I have been practicing and writing in my journal and talking about what it is that I would love to see out of a new home, how I want to feel now that we're in September, now that we're back in the routine, now that my baby is starting kindergarten. And so the more you can feel into what you want that end product to be, the better it's going to be for your outcomes. And then so the last thing I'll just say, and I think this ties into this whole thing, is just like lean into the trust, have that faith, like my 777 moment. Find those anchors. Maybe it's seeing a bird. I know when I see a blue jay, I'm like, oh, amazing. Like it's just a reminder for me, right? So whatever those signs are, you can ask for a sign. I know there's a story of a woman who was going through some changes in her life and she wasn't sure if it was for her. She didn't know if it was right. And so she's like, you know what? I want to see a sign and I want it to be so obvious and unique. Like, it's not like just show me something pink, right? It was like, I want to see pink panties. Sure enough, she was going for a walk with her husband, and there was a pair of kids' pink panties in the middle of the road in a super unexpected place. She wasn't like looking for it at all. It like appeared in front of her, right? Like as she was walking. It wasn't like she was digging through like the panty store. These things, when we ask for them, if things are right and if these signs and these synchronicities are here for a reason, then it will come to us. So lean into the trust, find those anchors that remind you that you are supported, even in chaotic times, even in moments of uncertainty, even when you have to list your house after finding out you have an accepted offer that was totally out of, right field, left field, whatever field, not even in the ballpark. Even in those moments, realize that you have faith. So as we wrap up, whether your September is a new beginning and it looks like the kindergarten drop off, a work project, committing to moving your body a few times a week, or, having that morning routine before the kids wake up, I hope you remember fresh starts are not about perfection. They are about possibility, and make time for what matters. Trust your gut and let the messy parts in. If this episode resonated with you, can you please share it with a friend who's also navigating a new season? And if you haven't yet, please write me a review, subscribe to the podcast. It helps more people find this podcast and just feel supported in the juggle as well. As always, we will be back with a brand new episode next week. And until then, thank you so much for listening. I'm so grateful that you took the time to be with me. Take good care.